I always have my sketchbook with me, and in my sketchbook I mainly make drawings of the landscape, make drawings of flowers, things from nature, and those marks start to come up in the larger works, more abstracted. It's important for me to exercise making the same kind of marks in many different materials because it's always evolving and changing. And I guess with the slower processes, it's really taking time to meditate on what I'm observing, and it also becomes its own thing eventually.
I'm Agnes Waruguru, and I'm trained in painting, and I think fabric was sort of an easy next step away from canvas, because at some point I realized I wasn't that interested in painting on canvas, and maybe I was more interested in figuring out how to make paintings in multiple different ways. And I leaned towards fabrics because at the time I was living in the States and I wanted to communicate something about my home and my personal life, and fabric was a very direct way for me to communicate my culture. From there, I just started using different types of cotton and collecting things from my house, like pillowcases, bed sheets, sort of when I can't use them anymore for functional purposes. I want to repurpose things and use them to make work. I was living in Swaziland for 2 years before I moved to the States for university. I did 1 year in California, but I had very severe culture shock and got into a bit of a depression. So I left, although the school was really good, and I feel that going to Cal Arts for the year, where there was really no practical classes, it was only conceptual classes, really opened up my mind to what an artwork can be and what actual art making can be, how diverse your practice can be. But being in the States and having a formal education in the arts really helped me think about how I want to structure making my work. I really liked the formal structure of going to class every day, reading a bunch, responding, writing essays, and then making work, trying to investigate also what you're going through and figuring out how to talk about it through your work. Last year, I was lucky to do the Saba Artists Residency in Lamu, which is an island in Kenya. I think being on residency is really important for any kind of artist, because it's really easy to sort of get caught up in what everyone in your immediate art scene is doing. And I think removing yourself from that and having time where you're not thinking about anything except what you want your practice to be, and even having the chance to make an isolated body of work that can be different from what you usually make in your studio, I think it's really important because you kind of need something to refresh you. With Lamu Courtyard, I remember this was the first piece I made during my residency in Lamu. And I had gone there with the intention of carrying on the work that I was doing in my studio, but I didn't. I just felt I needed to do something different. So I had this fabric and I painted it in the courtyard of where the residency was situated. And it was literally an afternoon of just making this work. It was very quick, very in response to the place that I was in. So even the colors, the way that the ink is spread, and using some grass from the courtyard to make marks. So it's really of that place and very quick, instinctive, not second guessing yourself, just making the work and enjoying it. I think because of how the island is set up, the work is very colorful, which I do love color, but I find that I'm usually more muted, and I find the works that I did in Lamu are much more bold, very strong lines, and I think it's because of the light and the colors of the island itself. This is going to be my first solo show. It's very exciting because it's something that I've been thinking about, I guess, for the past 3 years. It is quite nerve-wracking to have all this work that you've had and you've kept, and you've thought about for so long, and then having it out there in the world. I think it's really an amazing opportunity to be able to share the things that you care about and to share what's in your mind with other people. So I'm really excited to hear what other people have to say about the exhibition.